Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Crispy Compact Communiqué, episode 9.
9.
I don't even remember what week it is.
They all blend together.
Yeah, we're going crazy during the quarantine. But we are still coming at you with a fresh new podcast, however we can. This week, we're back to the old format because we're both away from our respective home bases.
Remote location.
Yeah, mysterious remote locations. But still staying safe, staying home, and practicing social distancing guidelines.
That's right.
And yeah, so this one's just a regular, good old-fashioned video podcast recording. Or if you're listening to us on Spotify or the podcast app of your choice, a regular Crispy Compact Communiqué video. I'm Rich Liebig.
I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we have a couple topics in the world of sports, entertainment, and odd news to get to you in this Crispy Compact Communiqué. But before we get to those, Mike, how you doing? How you handling week 9 of the quarantine?
I mean, I'm good. You know, it's just more of the same, really. I'm running out of new things to talk about. Because, you know, you can't really go out and about. You can't see new movies. You can't go out to new restaurants and new places. You know, there's only so many video games and Netflix you can watch. I did watch an interesting movie on Netflix, though, called Circle. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, that's a kind of a thriller where, was it a bunch of victims are in a circle and like there's like a chooser that goes around and chooses which one will be the next one to be eliminated.
Yeah, so basically that's what it is there's this group of people that you don't know how they got there. They allude to the fact that it might be like aliens or something, and they're in this circle, and they can each, and every 2 minutes one of them has to die.
Yeah.
Right? And so they each vote anonymously on who they want to die. And the gimmick of the movie is, and it's very ham-fisted in how it presents it.
Oh, that one they vote. That one they vote.
Yeah, okay. They vote. Yeah, so what the gimmick is that there's everybody there represents, like, you know, every single, like, aspect of society.
Is it bad that I know, like, multiple variants of this and I forget which one is which? Because there's circle, there's cube, which is a similar premise.
But they stand in a square.
They're stuck in a 6x6 cube.
Oh.
There's another one, the platform, where
I haven't seen that, but that's one that's been recommended to me.
Yeah, you have a whole bunch of people on different platforms, and
it's the same genre, right?
Yeah,
genre of like this social experiment gone wrong. It says something
with
about
shapes.
With shapes, yeah. It's always about shapes. Yeah, the next one's going to be the triangle or the pentagon. Yes. Yeah.
Well, if it's the Pentagon, then it's the Illuminati.
Can't have that. No.
Don't you speak about the Illuminati, Mike.
I will not besmirch the name.
We're a local podcast, all right?
I know, we don't want to draw their attention.
Yeah.
But no, so yeah, it's the same basic principle across all these films, where it's, you know, it's sort of a social commentary, this social experiment about how we value certain people over other people, and what that looks like. And, you know, this one in particular, every person in the circle represented like a different group of people, you know, and it had a nice little twist at the end that I don't want to spoil for anybody. But it's a movie that's not a great movie. Like, the dialogue is not good at all. Like, it's very ham-fisted and very on the nose what it's trying to get across. And it's just painful at times. But the conversation that it sparks during and after the movie, right, and the messages, that's the fun part, right? If you go into it thinking, I want to watch a sci-fi thriller, you're going to be let down. If you go into it thinking, I want a little bit of social commentary, I want, you know, a heady topic to talk about afterwards, and analyzing the themes that are running underneath it, then you'll have a much better time. That might be too much for people during a pandemic. Mm-hmm. You know, they want escapism. They don't want to be thrust back into reality, but I found it really compelling. So that's something that I watched on Netflix recently.
Yeah, I feel like we need to give a name to that genre. I don't know what we should call it, but it is like its own subgenre, especially on Netflix.
Yeah, it's like social commentary sci-fi. It's dystopian is what it is. It has a genre.
geometric dystopianism.
Oh, oh, you specifically want to get the shapes in there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what it is. Geometric dystopianism. There you go.
A
I
lot
like
of
it.
syllables too. It rolls right off the tongue.
It makes you sound really smart. Yeah.
Yeah. We're smart.
Multi-syllabic words.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So what have you been up to?
I actually, speaking of movie topics, there was a post going viral. Who was it? It was I forget who it was. Somebody tweeted, a famous author tweeted out who or if you had to make a list of your favorite gangster movies, what would be your top 10 gangster movies?
Okay.
And I participated. Oh, Stephen King, that's who it was. He tweeted out this and he asked for responses. I participated in it. You can see my list on Twitter at Rich Liebig. And what I thought was interesting was you had your mainstays. You had The Godfather. You had Goodfellas. You had Casino. You had the newest one, The Irishman. All these mainstay gangster films. And then there was a weird twist where people were throwing in movies that weren't actually true gangster films.
Okay.
And I'm not saying this as a negative or anything. I'm just saying if they're not gangster films. So
right.
a couple people were saying movies like Heat and Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs.
Wait, you say they're not gangster films?
I don't think they're. I wouldn't classify them as gangster films.
So
there is an element of it, but it's not like the focal point of the movie.
That's interesting because the characters are in themselves gangsters, but you're right in saying that that's not like the theme of it is
right.
The quote unquote gangster lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I'm stealing that. Yeah, it's like, not about the gangster lifestyle.
Goodfellas and The Godfather, like it's about that, but those other films are not about like that vibe, that lifestyle, that
correct.
Tone. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, you hit that right on the head. I'm stealing that.
Good.
Yeah.
All great art is.
Yes. But so yeah, I was a little taken aback by that. I'm like, these aren't some. I'm not saying they're not good movies either, because like Heat is one of my favorite, one of my top 10 movies of all time. But I wouldn't say it's a gangster film. It's a thriller. It's a heist movie, but it's not a gangster flick. So right. I thought that was interesting that people kind of have like the mainstream, the ones you're supposed to put on a list like that. Right. And then it kind of bleeds into this subgenre of crime. Another one was Chinatown. Chinatown is a great movie. It's not a gangster film. No, it's more a film noir than it is anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of took me aback a little bit. I was like, I don't think you guys know what a gangster film is.
Well, I can see the confusion though. In all fairness, I can understand the confusion. Because when you said they weren't gangster films, I was going to say, but they are. And I was like, well, not really. Because gangster, there's a certain connotation. It means mafia or mobster, right? And that's what I think that the list is getting after.
Yeah. Reservoir Dogs is basically a heist movie with a whodunit mystery.
Right, exactly.
So,
Pulp Fiction's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A artistic, nonlinear crime saga thing. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't even know where you'd even begin to place it in.
Yeah. So what was your list though? I'm curious.
Oh, my list?
Yeah. What's the top one? It's going to be Goodfellas, right?
Well, no. First it's Godfather and Godfather 2. I think they take 1 and 2. They're good. So good.
Good.
Yeah. So good. Now,
I thought you were going to throw a curveball there, but you didn't.
Now I am for number 3.
Okay.
And I'm not. These are neck and neck. I'm not saying 3, 4, if that makes sense. Like the space between 3 and 4 is very tight.
It's 3 and 3.5.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I personally would go Casino at 3. I love that movie. I freaking love Casino.
You do.
I love every moment of Casino. I love Frank Rothstein, or I love Sam Rothstein's character. I love Nikki Santoro. I love just I just the whole thing. Vegas, it works perfectly. I think it's just nearly flawless. So then I would put Goodfellas at 4.
Okay.
Everybody puts Goodfellas at 3. Many people say Goodfellas is the best non-Godfather gangster movie.
Right.
And then after that, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I put Scarface at 5.
Okay.
And I'm forgetting my list now.
Wait, was it more than 5? I thought it was 5. You said
it was top 10.
Oh, top 10. I can't even name 10.
Oh yeah, there's 10.
I know there's 10.
I just want to make sure I get it right before we get a comment that's like, "Oh, Rich, you didn't post it right," or something like that. You know. Okay, here we go. So 5 is Scarface. 6, Donnie Brasco. I love.
Okay.
I love Al Pacino as the old veteran that didn't get his day in the sun. Every dog has his day, Donnie. I want mine. And the boat line is fantastic. I think I told you about this. That's the one where his character says, "One of these days, Donnie, one of these days, I'm gonna get a boat and I'm gonna go north, south, east, west. I just go." And it's like, are you trying to insinuate that's like freedom? Because it isn't, because you're still going to hit land at some point.
No, he's going to avoid all the land.
Yeah, right? He says, north, south, east, west, doesn't matter where I go. Like, yeah, it does. Eventually you're going to hit land again. Like, you're not invincible.
Yeah.
It's not like getting the star in Mario, so Donnie Brasco always cracks me up. Departed at 7.
Okay, I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
that's a good
right.
one. That's a good one.
Solid good one.
Mm-hmm.
The Irishman at 8. I really loved how that seemed to be kind of the conclusion of Scorsese's gangster films.
Right. I still haven't seen that one. Actually.
You got it, Mike. You got to.
I haven't seen Donnie Brasco either, so.
You got to see that one. Come on, Mike.
I know.
9, Carlito's Way. That's a very good one that kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Where Al Pacino plays a gangster that's trying to get out of the business. That's a really good one. And then at 10, I finished with Road to Perdition, Tom Hanks.
Okay, yeah. I know that one. I've seen that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Another one that got lost in the cracks sometimes a little bit. I love that movie as well. The score in that movie is brilliant. And Newman, it's Newman's last role too as the elder gangster. That Tom Hanks has to kill. So it's great. Paul Newman, Tom Hanks, and early Daniel Craig too. That was Daniel Craig's like first major role. Like it's a solid film. Okay, now that we wasted enough time talking about gangster movies, we just took the football on that one and ran.
You do love your gangster films.
I do.
But speaking of football, we're not going to talk about it in this next segment. It's time for sports.
Yeah, we gotta get to sports news, and the quarantine clouds have been concentrated all over the sports realm. But all of a sudden this week, part of it has shifted aside. The NHL, out of all of the leagues, have come through and have announced that they are planning to return play, possibly in July, with a special 24-team playoff.
Yeah, that was the craziest headline ever. I was like, 24 teams? Aren't there only 30 in the league?
Yeah. So
okay then.
Those bottom 6 teams, you suck. You couldn't make the 24-team playoff.
That's literally 80% of the league making the playoffs. Right.
I get it. I think I think the reasoning is logical because
they missed like half their season.
They missed like the last third of their season. Yeah. Okay. So they had enough data that you could rank the teams properly, but not enough to have not enough of a shut window to be like, oh, these teams don't deserve to be in. Like if they could have had the rest of the third of that season, you probably would have seen some changes with the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th seeding. So I get the reasoning behind it. But the bigger news for us here in Philadelphia is that Philadelphia, the luckiest, sometimes we are the luckiest city, sometimes we're the unluckiest city, and other times we're the luckiest city ever. Philadelphia fell perfectly as the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference, which grants them a bye. Like somehow in the middle of this, the Flyers prospered.
Yeah, fail upwards, right?
Yeah. So they luckily just caught the lip of the teams that get the bye weeks. It's the first 4 teams. First 4 teams will spend a quick round robin that plays against each other to determine who gets the overall number 1 seed, which could be advantageous as we get closer to the end of this run. But still, the fact that the Flyers get to go straight into the next round of the playoffs automatically, that's got to feel good. Got to feel good.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It ended up being very advantageous for them, considering that the remaining 16 teams have to play best of 5 series.
Yeah.
Again, so the Flyers are saving a little bit of game time there. They'll be a little bit more rested.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably still play their starters and everything, trying to get the overall number 1 seed in that round robin. But
they don't have to go through an entire 5-game series with another team.
Yeah. Playoff hockey is very different than regular hockey. So I'm very happy the Flyers snuck in, got that bye week, and simultaneously the Pittsburgh Steelers got screwed because I said Steelers, Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, you said. I was going to say what?
Pittsburgh Penguins, they got screwed because they were the 5th seed, so they're the top team in that wild card round. So good for you, Jack. You got the top seed. Woo! Good for you. I hope you lose to the Canadians. That would be hilarious. You go down to the 12th seed. I think that would be hilarious. So that's my secret hope.
Oh my God.
that's the nuts and bolts of this plan. It's supposed to resume in July, assuming that there's not any sort of setbacks or anything like that. And the only other thing is that there's going to be host cities that will determine where these games will be held. That is still up for grabs.
Yeah, that's an interesting part to me. There's these 2 hub cities, and they're going to play in empty arenas. They're taking a lot of precautions, which is good. But I don't know, it's kind of eerie. It's like this, obviously a sign of things to come here. Empty arenas, 2 hub cities. It's going to be a logistical nightmare to figure that out because these cities have to play host to all the players, the staff, the coaches, the entire entourage to the team.
They'll figure it out.
I'm sure they'll figure it out, but that's a lot of teams to host at once.
But you know what this really means, though?
What?
Hockey is taking advantage of this. They've realized that right now nobody is watching any sort of sports. Nobody can really enjoy anything in the sports realm. So if you're the first league back in action, you're grabbing a good set of the audience.
It's also a sport that can work within the confines of the pandemic because I feel like it'd be easy to implement a face mask type thing, so that it would prevent possible spread of anything.
Yeah, they already wear helmets with face masks and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Like, I think that's the reason basketball hasn't come back is because there's no protective gear. It would be weird if they started wearing like face masks because it would probably interfere with it. But in hockey, they're already halfway there.
Yeah.
And speaking of the precautions they're taking a lot of them. They have very rigorous testing and safety procedures. I was reading some of the things that they have to do. Maximum of 6 players practicing on the ice at a time. There's no coaches or team personnel on the ice. A lot of extra personnel are barred from the facilities completely. Like media and player agents are not allowed in at all. Testing, a couple times a week. So they're taking it seriously. It seems like they have a good rollout plan. Really the only one that we've heard from any of these sports leagues to this point.
Yeah. And it's going to be advantageous for hockey. They're the first ones back up. And
I'm surprised baseball.
We'll see how they do.
I'm surprised baseball hasn't come up with anything yet.
Well, that's where a big dilemma lies because apparently the sticking point is the whole money situation we talked about a couple weeks ago when we had that first proposal plan for baseball where they would have the 50-50 splitting of the revenues between the players and the teams. And apparently when players looked as to what that actually means on their final paychecks, they were not happy with it. So
yeah,
it might, I hate to say it, but baseball might have a very, very difficult road coming back. Not just for the health reasons, but now these players are upset about the money situation.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think baseball actually started, did it?
No, it was only spring training.
Okay. Yeah, so hockey already had their season underway. Baseball hadn't even started, and now we're eating into the season, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, by the time we get to July, it's the halfway point. You know, hockey had something to go on. Baseball would have to start up from nothing. You know, football is still the safest because they're still a way out. Basketball, I think, is just done because we'd be getting ready to go into basketball playoffs right now, right?
Oh, that would be the only way they could continue this season. They'd have to jump right to playoffs. Because
what had been played of the season so far? I don't even remember.
The majority of it. I think they had something like, I think 10 games left in the season, if I remember correctly.
Oh, never mind. They're fine then.
Yeah.
For some reason,
So no, they would jump right to the playoffs, I think, if they resumed the season.
For some reason, I thought they had played less.
No, they played.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm looking at the win-loss totals. Oh, they played the majority of it. Oh, they could. Yeah, you know what the problem is there's more contact and there's more. They're more exposed. They're not wearing any protective gear. They're coming into contact with each other a lot.
Yeah,
that's a really problematic one to start back up, I think.
Yeah, actually, if you remember, NBA was the first one to stop all.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Facilities, training, everything. Ironically, I think that was probably the last time we did a full-blown Crispy Noodle podcast. I think it was that same week.
Probably.
Yeah, NBA was the first one to shutter down the season. So
I remember us talking at the time, like, is it necessary? Well, you know, hindsight is 2020. We didn't realize then what we do now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Well, the first one was March Madness, the college basketball. Now that I remember, that was the first big thing to get canceled was March Madness.
I remember because I didn't care at all about it. As I do now.
Mike. Good job, Mike. Way to be in tune. Basically, don't wake Mike up until the football season has started.
Basically, right?
There you go.
Is there any other sport? What's the point?
Yes, there is. There's going to be hockey now, Mike.
Ugh. God.
Come on. The Flyers have a bye week. Come on, get excited.
Yay.
Mike is just like, let me know if they ever make the finals or something.
That's the only time I care. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll follow it for you. I'll let you know if the Flyers make it back to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So there you go. That's our sports chat for this week. Let's get into some entertainment news. This is something that happened today, actually, and it's causing quite a buzz among fans of John Krasinski, the lead actor from The Office. Everybody, I think, respects him as an actor. He did comedic work for The Office, and now he's done serious roles with Jack Ryan and Quiet Place. So he's been having a good career so far. During this quarantine period, he decided to tip his toes into the world of news reporting for a little bit. Make himself a triple threat. He's got comedic, acting, and news reporting chops now.
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, it's perfect. Well, unfortunately, he may be trending for a little bit of a criticism for him. That's because he started a online show produced directly at his house during the quarantine period called Some Good News, SGN for short. It even sounds like a news organization.
Right?
You're tuned in to SGN. So he started this little cute show. Each episode lasted around 20 to 30 minutes, I think. And he would do just straight nothing but good, uplifting news. during the quarantine period, and it caught on like wildfire. People loved it. People loved the change of pace, especially after you're watching CNN for 20 hours straight, worrying about whether you're going to die from the coronavirus.
Right.
It was a good change of pace to see John report this lovely news. I think he did a total of 8 episodes, so he had a good run with it.
It was pretty good.
Yep.
I saw an episode where the reason I know this is because they had a segment about Hamilton, where they had the cast of Hamilton sing a big Zoom thing to like a super fan. Like, it was good, uplifting stuff, and he managed to get lots of great celebrity spots. I think he had all the characters from The Office come back on and do a dance thing, didn't he? So it was like a lot of his videos went viral. He had a knack for pulling that off.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, if you noticed, a lot of our sentences were in the past tense.
Yeah.
Because the news feed hit the wire that John Krasinski has decided to sell the idea of Some Good News directly to CBS. This is the world we live in.
Yeah, I know. You think Some Good News, you think CBS, I guess.
Yeah. While John Krasinski is reportedly still going to have some sort of involvement with the show, news reports have said that he is not going to host the show when it debuts on CBS, which has caused a lot of criticism and blowback online, on social media, on Twitter. So, Mike, what do you think? Is this fair or foul? Did Krasinski sell out his idea? Is he a sellout now?
I mean, I don't necessarily like the term sellout, but you got to admit, it doesn't look good that he did like 8 episodes and then sold it to one of the big news conglomerates. And then he's like, peace, I'm done. Good for him, I guess. But at the same time, what's the point? You started Some Good News to bring some levity, some good news to a very difficult time. And he was the face of it. He's what made it so popular. Mm-hmm. So he sells it and then he removes himself, or he's removed by CBS. I don't know exactly what the terms were. It's not Some Good News anymore. It's just another talking head show.
Yeah.
It loses what made it notable. It loses its identity. So sellout, not a sellout. I mean, whatever. He has the right to do with it whatever he wants to, but it's not a great look. And it is disappointing. Because it was this glimmer of hope, and then he's like, well, CBS offered, they backed up the truck full of cash, and they're like, here you go, and he just had no problem stepping aside.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing for the fans. It's disappointing for the people that took refuge in that show. So I gotta admit, I have no skin in the game. I didn't follow it other than the few viral clips that I watched, so it doesn't bother me one way or the other, but I can see how people are bothered by it.
Yeah. So my 3 big criticisms with this is, number one, it was John Krasinski's idea. So,
right.
It's going to be weird to do a show where he's not in it.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to be, if it's going to work out. Also, number 2, part of the reason why I think people loved it was because it literally was John Krasinski in his home on like a regular camera, just doing, I think his kid made like the drawings and stuff, like it was very homegrown and authentic. Now CBS buys it and it's like, are you going to make this like a full-blown production? Like, is there going to be like an actual stage? Are we building like an actual studio?
It's just the Daily Show now.
Yeah,
so
right.
Like John Oliver, like there's nothing that makes it different now.
Yeah. And then number 3 is I can't take big corporations at their word. If there is going to be a superstar that is going to be attached to the show, I have a bad feeling this is going to be one of those CBS All Access shows that you're going to have to pay, to watch or something like that. One of that BS. Because now everybody's got a streaming platform. Everyone needs content now, so they're just going to. They're going to buy this, produce it, and then stick it behind the paywall of CBS All Access. So at the end of the day, what was supposed to be authentic and good, I think, is just gonna go to the wayside with this deal.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way of framing it. Is it was authentic, and
Yeah.
now it's just another news show. It's the exact opposite of authentic. It's been carefully tailored, and they're going to have some talking head on there, and it's going to be highly produced, and it lacks that authentic, homegrown feeling that made it so popular.
Yeah. So unfortunately, as much as I like John Krasinski, I loved his role in The Office and Jack Ryan. I have to come out against it. I think this is kind of I think it's a bad move on his part. I think sellout is a fair term. I think it's justified here.
Yeah, I mean, I usually dislike that term, but it is justified here. But it's not totally out of his character, I don't think. Because I don't know, he had this great thing with The Office, and then he just did these random big action hero roles too. So he's like every other Hollywood actor. He's he wants to do the most popular, well-paying gig, which there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah. I'm not particularly shocked that it went this way. I
am that CBS would buy it.
CBS seems like a weird one.
Yeah, in my opinion, I would think something internet based would have picked it up,
right.
I don't know, like a Vice or something along those lines. Something
that was a bit hipper.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit hipper. One of these things that are hip to the groove thing, let me tell you.
You know what, though? Here's the thing. I bet you the demographics of Some Good News and CBS probably overlap quite a bit, and that's why CBS made a play for it. CBS caters to, I think, an older audience, with all the alphabet soup cop shows and, I don't know, what else do they have? Star Trek.
Yeah, Picard, yeah.
Picard. Woo. So, yeah, it's probably typically an older audience. It's my parents' demographic. They love their NCIS. Can't get enough of it. It's their favorite show. So, there's probably a significant overlap there, which is why they made a play for it. But yeah, CBS doesn't scream hip and fun, And
any show that makes them sing the alphabet, yeah, they'll have it.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. Some entertainment news there for you. So we promised to give you sports entertainment. The third item on the docket is odd news. And of course, I've always got some crazy odd news because even in quarantine, the odd news doesn't stop.
Never stops. The party must go on.
That's right. Okay, so here we go. This story that I found is a Florida story.
Of course.
Yep. Mike, go ahead.
Who is this effing guy in Florida? It's Florida, and they're crazy.
There you go. Perfect. Right on cue.
Right on cue.
This is interesting. I don't know if we ever had a story quite like it. Maybe we've always had wacky excuses, but this is interesting.
Okay.
A Florida woman who was arrested for yanking her boyfriend's hair told police that, quote, it was like a sexual thing that he secretly liked, and that the victim liked sex rough from behind, according to an arrest affidavit.
So wait, so the hair, I'm confused. What is the issue here?
The Florida woman is pulling this dude's
his hair.
And he doesn't like it, and he calls the police, and then she said
he does like it.
He does like it. It is a sexual thing.
So he's like, I don't like it, and she says, no, he does like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see the circle?
Yeah. He's like, no, I don't, and she's like, but you do.
Yeah, of course you do.
No, I think what she means is she likes it.
48-year-old Florida woman Marnie Faxon.
That's a interesting name. Marnie, like Barney with an M?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, perfectly. Yes. Marnie. What a name.
Okay.
Good old Marnie. Florida woman, 48-year-old Marnie Faxon, was busted yesterday for domestic battery following a confrontation on Sunday. with her boyfriend in the apartment that they share at Treasure Island Apartments.
It's Florida. What do you expect?
I freaking love these names. I just got a kick from these names alone. I don't even need the story.
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island Apartments.
They're trying to make it. It's a treasure. It's a real gem.
Oh boy, it's a treasure in another way. The 47-year-old victim showed police that she had video of Faxon grabbing his hair and pulling it while yelling at him. A witness cited in the affidavit report hearing the man yelling to let go of his hair or he would call police. So he's simultaneously recording her while she's pulling the back. Like,
so he's recording?
Yeah. Shouldn't you
put down the phone and be like, stop that?
Yeah. I think if you had two hands to get her off of you, I think you would have been fine. Yeah. When you're trying to do selfie taking or something, I don't think that's adequate.
Like, right, if it was that uncomfortable, why would he continue? Or maybe he's like, maybe this could be evidence later. I don't know.
Yeah. So
it's just a strange decision in the heat of the moment. Yeah.
But I never process while a crime is being, at least me, I've never thought of this, but while a crime is being committed, my first concern is never, let me get that evidence.
Right. Well, you know what my thing would be like, if he were in pain, I feel like he would be like not focused on holding on to the phone. He'd like put it down and like deal with stopping what's causing the pain. Right. Not like hold on to the phone for dear life.
Right. No, I got to get this for evidence.
Yeah.
So the victim showed police the video. That's when Faxon was put in handcuffs. After being read her rights, Faxon then gave her side of the story, saying that, quote, this was like a sexual thing, and that, quote, the victim liked this, and saying he usually likes it rough from behind.
I mean, maybe he does. Maybe it just went too far. I don't know. Who knows?
Also, that, quote, he is naturally a submissive.
Whoa. She's just airing all the dirty laundry, isn't she?
Yeah. Just going for it.
Yeah.
Of course, the victim has adamantly denied everything that she said.
Well, yeah, of course.
Faxon was then charged with domestic battery. She was booked into the county jail and later released on her own. So, and a judge has ordered her to have no contact with the victim. So no more frisky play after that.
No more hair pulling.
Yeah, that's no more hair.
Probably a wise choice that the judge did that.
Yeah. I just want to see the victim just trying to defend like, oh no, I never liked any of this. And then like the police go into his bedroom is like, then why are these, why are these anal beads in your drawers or something,
Yeah,
like that. This sounds like a Saturday Night Live skit, when you think about it. It sounds like one of those things like, oh, no, of course not me, officer.
Yeah, and they just pull out all the evidence and they're like, really?
Yeah. And if it hurt that bad, yeah, why is your focus on the video?
That's what I'm surprised about. If I'm in pain, I like drop what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a natural reaction. But he's like, no, hold on to the phone.
Yeah, I got to make sure this video is crisp.
Right. Well, it might come in handy though in this case because now he has evidence that the girlfriend was saying stop and she wasn't.
Yeah, but
I guess in a weird sort of way, it ended up benefiting him.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know if that's what was going through his mind. I don't know if he was like actively thinking that. Yeah,
but. I don't know. It is Florida, so anything is possible. But that woman could be crazy. She could just be marching into like random people's houses and being like, "It's time for you to have some fun." Woo!
Well, it's not a random person though.
Yeah, it was the boyfriend.
They were together, right?
I have these vivid imaginations.
So in your mind, she's going from apartment to apartment and doing this.
Yeah, just having some fun. Just it's time to have some fun. Let me grab that hair. Woo!
That's dark, Rich.
I don't know.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
It is Florida. All right.
It is Florida. That's true.
This is what Florida does to odd news reports. So, all right. So there you go. That's what I have for you this week in the odd news nugget that I have.
Nice.
All right. But before we conclude the show, we like to do apocalypse activities. Give you a couple, one or two things that, we think you should keep an eye out for, or things you should do while you're stuck in quarantine. Mike, anything you would recommend? Something that we haven't talked about before?
I got nothing.
Do you want me to buy time for you?
I have nothing, so it can just be you. I don't have any other activities. Oh, you know what I did see? I did see a report that drive-in theaters could be making a comeback.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's the most viable way for the movie industry to continue.
Yeah, I saw something earlier that there was going to be one if you're in this region. I think it's Pottstown. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why more people aren't doing it. It seems like the perfect way to restart the, movie theater industry right now.
Yeah. Really, the only problem is you just have to have a lot of land.
Yeah.
That's really it.
And a screen. I mean, you do need some things to get it set up, but I feel like people could, movie theater chains could get it done, right? They could do it in the parking lot.
Well, it depends on how big your parking lot is.
Yeah. But yeah, this one's in Pottstown. Sunnybrook in Pottstown is doing a pop-up drive-in theater. Yeah. So give that a try, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for mine?
Yeah, I feel like you really want to get to it. You have something built up here. Go ahead.
Yes. Me and Rachel just finished a series called Upload, which is by what's his name, Mark Daniels or whatever, the guy who was the lead on the U.S. Who was the lead showrunner on the U.S. version of The Office.
Okay.
Is it Mark Daniels? I forget now. Now I feel bad. It's Mark something Daniels.
I don't know. I'm looking at the IMDb page. I don't see anything. Yeah. But go ahead. You were saying?
Greg Daniels. Thank you. That's his name. There we go. So already when we were flipping through the inventory of things to watch on Amazon, right. When I saw a Greg Daniels show, I was like, all right, that seems seems worth it. And the show had an interesting premise. Basically, it's like Soma and The Good Place come together.
Now that sounds awesome.
Yeah. The premise is that in this universe, it takes place around 2050, in the near future, but not too far in the future.
Okay.
You can, before you die, you can upload your mental image to a retirement paradise.
Oh, that sounds very interesting and like it would cause problems, but yes.
Yeah. But it's more normal than Soma, and it's more comedic than much more comedic than Soma, because
I'd hope so.
Yeah. Because they have a lot of criticisms of what would happen if capitalism ever got a hold of something like this.
Oh, God.
So a couple of the funny things is all the ads that are placed everywhere.
Oh my God.
all the opt-in add-in purchases.
Oh
my. Which is such a dig at EA. I love it.
Oh, this sounds like a show that I absolutely need to watch.
Yeah. And it's pretty good plot. There's a little bit of a whodunit mystery kind of a thing that it evolves as it goes on. And it's only 10 episodes, and each episode's only a half hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can breeze right through it.
You fly through that. Now, what did you say this was? Was this Amazon Prime Video?
Yeah, it's on Prime, yeah.
Did this just come out?
I think it did.
Oh, wow. It literally just came out. So this is see, if we were still doing a normal format, this would have been a show that I would have done in This Week in Entertainment probably, and then proceeded not to watch it.
Now I have the power now, Mike.
You have the power now. Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. I really want to check that out. And it seems like it's already been renewed for a second season. I'm just like reading all the information now.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's hilarious. I just love the tongue-in-cheek criticisms of what would happen if a private company was able to use this for their own gain.
Yeah.
There's also like different levels of what you buy into. Like they have the unlimited,
a premium afterlife.
Yeah, there's an unlimited tier, which is like the fanciest hotel, the fanciest food, the fanciest activities you can do, and then from there there's the crappiest, which they call 2G, first 2 gigabytes, and it's like nothing. It's like a prison.
Oh my god.
So it's fantastic. It hits home in a weird way.
It sounds darkly comedic and slightly dystopian in a fun way.
In a fun way. No, it's more lighthearted. It's
okay.
Yeah. So it's not like, obviously it's not as dark as Soma, but it's a lot of the same principles and stuff.
It's like Soma meets The Good Place meets WALL-E, kind of.
A little bit, yeah. So that is my recommendation. Me and Rachel breezed right through it because each episode's only 20 to 30 minutes. So,
and 10 episodes, you're done in like 4 to 5 hours. That's nothing. Yeah.
So that is my recommendation for our apocalypse activities. Oh man, and there you go. Wow, just like that. We're having so much fun, and there you go. We're already 46 minutes in. We're starting to come to the end of the show. Thank you guys for tuning in and checking out this episode of the Crispy Compact Communiqué. If you like what you heard, make sure that you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com, to find out more information about the show and more about us and everything like that.
Yeah. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the social medias. I don't normally do this part of the spiel, Rich.
Oh, well, whatever. I played it by ear. I don't know.
You played it by. I'm like waiting for my cues, and you're just like, no, it's all right.
Sorry. Quarantine has really messed everything up.
Quarantine messes with our brain. But anyway, you can find us on Facebook, on Twitter at The Crispy Noodle, on Instagram at The Crispy Noodle. Yeah. You can find us on YouTube. You can also
this is also a podcast. So if you're one of the people out driving and about to work, you can download this as an audio podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, pretty much any podcast app of your choice.
That's right. Make sure to search for, download, and subscribe to us. You get the latest episodes downloaded every week. If you want to get in touch with us individually to share any stories that you have or questions that you want us to cover during these episodes, you can find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. You can find us on the Twitters. Let us know what's happening. Give us a tweet. If you have a topic you want us to tackle, let us know. I mean, Stephen King, he had a topic about gangster films, and I ran with it. So there you go. That's the nature of the show.
Yeah.
So, let us know what you want us to talk about on future episodes.
And don't worry, unlike John Krasinski, we won't sell to CBS.
No. No.
Although, Rich, if we did get an offer, we absolutely would sell to CBS in a heartbeat.
Yes, please give us money. We need to pay off our student loans.
Right?
Yeah. But no, for right now, we need to start wrapping it up. This has been the Crispy Compact Communiqué, a shortened version of the Crispy Noodle podcast. Anything else, Mike?
No, that's it. Everybody, hope everybody's staying safe and having a good time and during their pandemic quarantine.
There you go.
The good times keep it rolling.
Right. And we'll keep it rolling here on the Crispy Noodle. This has been the Crispy Noodle podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. That'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye.